Boom. We are live. Back at it like a crack at it. Hey, what's going on, man? You got your boy Antoine Jarvis, man. And this amazing brother, Mr. Brian Bog. Come on, man.
Hey,
You
I
want to
do
talk
what
about
I
yourself, brother?
can. Hey, I'm glad to be here with you, here to talk a little bit, provide some perspective a little bit.
Man, I just want to make this real quick, you know what I mean? We're gonna be talking about the 3Ds. Because and the reason why I'm making it quick because this is going to be an amazing topic to touch on. It's going to be very interesting. So y'all definitely need to listen up, man. The 3Ds we're going to be talking about is discernment, being able to make decisions, and being able to deconflict any situations that you come across. And we're gonna go ahead and
Facts.
jump into this, brother. Let's go ahead and get this work.
Hey, I'm following your lead, brother.
Okay, and the topic is what again?
The importance of word association to the human condition.
Ooh. Ooh, the importance of words. So, if I'm understanding correctly, word association, because you may say love is this, and I may say love is this. How, from that perspective, what do you feel causes people to have so many different communication breakdowns?
And that's it right there. That word association, how you associate the definition of a word when you're trying to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like the purpose of communication is to deliver an idea from your brain to somebody else's brain. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole purpose of communication. So if you got one definition or association with certain words and you communicate them, but the person you're talking to got a different association and definition for the same words, it ain't gonna match.
Mm, it ain't gonna match. I think it's funny we talking about this because I just was having uh, a conversation with Ashley. We were talking about this, and we were talking about word association in regards to the what love means, right? And some people will say, well, love is if I call you to check on you and where you at, and did you get there safely, and what time you supposed to be there, and all that time. That's me showing love to you. Another person may look at that and be like, well, no, that's micromanaging me.
Worrying about me. That ain't
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
You worrying about me. You understand? Listen, that worrying causes unneeded stress in my life, which I didn't even tell you I even needed to be worried about. And why are you even worried about me in the first place? And now your personal issue, your personal problem, you're now trying to make it my problem. Now I
Absolutely.
have to deal with now I have to deal with your nervousness, your you stressing yourself out, uh everything that comes with that worry. Now you're putting all that energy onto me as if it's my problem when really it's just a personal problem. What's your thoughts on that?
Hey, I'm in agreement that one person's personal problem isn't another's. And I want to go back to the worrying part. Because a lot of people think that if a person worries about you, they love you. But the thing to me is like, hey,
Mm,
if you worry about paying bills, does that mean you love bills? Like, come
that's a good
on, man.
question. That's
You
a
know,
good
you,
question.
you worry about bills, you worry about school, you worry about work, you worry about an assignment at work, you worry about getting paid, you worry about a lot of stuff. But that don't mean you love all that other stuff. So why, since you
Nah.
worry about me, I'm supposed to associate that with you love me?
And to me, that's borderline manipulation.
Always is.
That's borderline manipulation. And the reason why I say that because, and we can always play devil's advocate because, you know what I'm saying? If you was on your way home, right, and you just left my spot, uh, I'm gonna hit you up and be like, hey, B, you made it home safely. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. I'm
Right.
going to expect that. So we can always play devil's advocate because somebody gonna go into the comments and be like, well, what about this? And that's okay, right? So we're gonna play devil's advocate, right? Now back to what you were saying. You know what I mean? They say that that's love and it's really worry. And the challenge I have with it is if we already express that love is what you do for other people, you're not doing this for me. You're not doing that for me. You're doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? You're not doing it because you love me. You do it because you enjoy being in that headspace. You understand what I'm saying? And now you're trying to convince me that this is the proper headspace to be in. And that's where my challenge comes in because I'm like, well, hold on. Listen, I appreciate, don't get me wrong, I appreciate when people tap in and, did you make it home safely? I appreciate that because that's not really followed by any no long conversations of well, where
Right.
you at, where you been. It's not followed by that. Now, if you call me and and the conversation is where you at, where you been, what time you supposed to be home, and then when I don't get there at that time, it's a problem. Is that my problem or is that your problem? What's your thoughts on
Hey,
that?
see, and that's it right there. So like, let's say like on the tap in when you go somewhere, when you going home, and then they be like, hey, call me when you get home, and you don't call, and then you get that follow up message. Why didn't you call me when you got home? Or why didn't you do this? Whoa, I don't have no requirement to do it. That's your worry. If you're talking to me, apparently I'm okay. So so why you want to
Apparently,
determine
I'm okay.
exactly?
Right, right. Go figure.
Go figure, you know
Apparently, I'm okay.
what I'm
God, dog. Go ahead and finish, brother. I just
yeah,
wanted
you
to
know,
touch on that because they be saying, well, what if there's an emergency? Why go straight to the extreme? But go ahead, brother.
and that's it. Why go to the worst that can happen
Hmm.
instead of going to the best that can happen? Yeah, and I get the normal nature, and I don't like using the word normal often because normal implies a certain standard. When in my philosophy in life, I don't believe there's a certain standard in life. You got a certain standard for yourself, but you can't set a standard across the board for people because everybody's different as far as how they want to live their life.
Hmm.
But you want to look at things in the worst possible light at all times.
Hmm.
And like me, I don't, even look, I always see things in the best possible light. Even, and I have doubt, of course, because I'm a human being. I have
Right,
doubt that things are going to go positively, but I always reinforce that, okay, it's going to go positive until it doesn't.
right.
Because there's an old saying, and I don't remember who said it, but it's like, he who worries suffers twice.
Mm, I like that one.
You know what I'm
He who
saying?
worries suffers twice. I like that one.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're suffering from your worry, and then when the bad thing happens, you're gonna suffer from the bad thing happening.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just suffer the one time when the bad thing happened.
Oh man. Yeah, that's it right there. Listen, we was going back and forth on this one, man. And and it's crazy because I be posting stuff on my IG, certain stories and stuff, and people slide in my DM and they like, well, would you really think that, or you really? And I'm like, well, I posted it because it's a conversation piece. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's about polygamy, whether it's about the mindset of how women think today, whether it's about women not knowing how men think and not caring to even find out.
That's the big one, not caring.
I had a chick tell me one time, she said she went on a date and she was like, the dude, what I'm saying, was trying to sleep with me and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, she was like, I'm like, at the end of the day, there's tons of women out there that'll give it to, what I'm saying, give it to him. You know what I mean? He's 6'6", he's an athlete, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, mm. you don't understand men. Let me go ahead and fill you in on a little something, something. I said, I don't know if you know, right? Um, and you already know we're big on mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's important to us because we are the people that suffer from it the most, right? Women
Yes.
women talk about this whole mental health. Worry about the man's mental health or a black man's mental health and all that type of, but they don't really care. That's just their narcissistic way of trying to convince us they care, but really don't give two shits, right? Now,
Unless it reinforces something they saying.
that benefits them. If it reinforces something that benefits them, then it's hey, you see what I'm saying? Hey, straight up, you're not lying. And that's why I tend to err on the side of this is why communication is so important. So let me go and explain to you what really happens to most men. The average man ain't getting no cookie like that. One out of every three men, they did the stats, they did a report saying that one out of every three men are not having have not had sex within the last year, and or is a virgin today, right? Um, and I told her, I said the problem is that those women that you said were, typically just throw it at dudes, there's now they're picking and choosing who to throw it at now. Why are they picking and choosing? Well, because now they can go on social media and wear something that, shows a little chest, shows a little butt. Now they've been gassed up so much that they only want a certain type of dude. They don't want just a dude that just want to smash them. Now they're like, well, no, I got a taste of this attention. Because I got a taste of this attention, I now want the type of dude that all you other women want. Even though I really don't deserve that type of dude, but because all of y'all simps is telling me that I'm attractive, I'm this and I'm that, really, because y'all really just want to smash. If we're being all the way honest, when you go to these dudes' pages who are who are all under these women's comments and oh my God, girl, I'll do this, I'll do that. You go to that page, they really just insecure males, unfortunately. You know what I mean? But they are the problem because they're gassing women up to think, well, no, this is how men are.
What have men been doing throughout history?
Throughout history. You're not
Throughout
lying.
history, man.
There's always been them, and
It's
they're
always
never
been
going to
there. That's
change.
the reason why women have always been the vision of beauty. You don't when you think of
Hmm.
beauty, you don't think of a man. You think of a woman.
Oh yeah, you never think of a man when you hear vision. You
Yeah.
never. That never crosses your.
It never crosses your
it never.
mind.
It never crosses your mind. You know what I'm saying? It never crosses your mind. And that's where it gets a little mind-boggling. Um, because I'm like you said, man. I'm glad you brought that up. It's been that way since the beginning of time, right? It's just even that much more worse and more enhanced because now you have these and I'm not gonna put no names out there because they're not sponsoring us, but now you have these digital apps that allow people to send money like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So these girls who were really like twos and threes in their small cities have been gassed up because of social media, have been gassed up to believe that they're now fives and sixes because of all the sexual attention that they're getting online. Not relationship attention,
I feel you,
sexual
but
attention. What's your thoughts on that?
I differ a little there because who am I to say what somebody is? Like I'm not a big. I have my rating system for Brian Boggs, but
Right.
I can't say what something is to somebody else because
Correct.
what could be a one to me could be a 10 to somebody else based upon their background. So who am I to say, hey man, you lost your mind thinking that's the vision of beauty when that's what it is for him. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And if he wants to be a sucker for lack of a better term and give his money away because he finds see somebody pretty and he want to get some attention from her, hey, I mean, we live in a society where free trade. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I was waiting for you to say it. I'm like, man, just spit it out, bro. I know what you got to say. Just spit it out, bro. Like, that's, I mean, there's OF for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
girls that made OF their career now for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and
Absolutely.
spit it out. Yeah. So
And
technically, they're not suckers.
what the women ain't, the
No,
guy.
but think about it. The dudes, like you said, the dudes ain't really suckers neither because you said that's their vision of beauty. So they
I'm not
accept it
saying
as
that.
such.
I'm not saying that his determination of beauty makes him a sucker. What I'm saying is that you give me your money to somebody that ain't doing nothing but saying hi to you or
Oh,
following you
I
or
got
sending
you.
you a message. That's a sucker move. I mean, but you always gonna have suckers because it's gonna be people. You know the old saying: "A fool and his money shall soon part."
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
you got a dude and a female showing him a little bit of attention, and that's the vision of beauty to him. And some dudes mind him like, oh man, I gotta show her. I want her. So let me give her this to
Mm.
show her this. and we know where that falls. It's tell a time.
You're not lying. Yeah, since the
So
beginning of time, it's been like this.
absolutely, you know what I'm saying, and kind of, and I know I say sucker, I say, uh, I'm insecure because, like, to me, most people that worry a lot, they have a little insecurity about something. At least
Hmm.
that's my estimation of it, and that's why that word association piece, comes in because what you identify as is what you become.
Mm. Brought it
You
right back.
know what
Brought it
I'm
right back.
saying?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Facts.
If you identify as that type of person that needs that type of stimulation, because really, that's really what you're doing is stimulating yourself.
Yes.
That's really all it is. You're stimulating yourself, right? Um, if that's what you really feel that you need, and again, listen, who am I to tell you how to spend your money? For one, like who are we to say you ain't got no business spending? All we can say is, hey man, you making it harder for yourself. You're making it harder for yourself because they created something called the 80-20 rule just because they decided to get more picky on the men that they chose. So 80% of the women are sleeping with 20% of the men. You are now putting yourself out of that 20% if you ever was in it because they really don't respect those type of dudes.
I mean, but the guys that's paying, they wasn't even in it though.
They
Just keeping
wasn't
it a
even in
buck.
that twenty
Because if they
percent.
was in it,
You
they
right.
wouldn't do
Yeah, you
that.
right. You right. You right. You right. You you right. You right. And that's the part where, and I think that's the part where you got to have your own discernment on that word association. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to make the decision based off of what you understand. And if you don't understand it, hey, it's okay to tap in with somebody else. And, hey, man, what's your thoughts on this? You understand what I'm saying? Because you never want to put yourself in a place to where a person loses respect for you or doesn't respect you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end
Right.
of the day, everybody deserves respect. At the very least, everybody deserves respect until they lose it.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not that, and it's gonna sound funny coming out of my mouth, but
Hmm.
this is how I truly feel. I'm not really that big on respect. I used to
Okay.
be, but I'm not anymore because in trying to get respect, sometimes you end up stepping outside of yourself. So whether you respect me or not is of no importance as long as you don't cross a line. Like you can not respect me as long as you don't do something to me that provides a negative outcome. You know,
Okay.
we could go through life not respecting each other and be perfectly cool. I mean, we can even speak to each other. Hey, what's up? How you doing, brother? Even though we don't respect each other, I can move like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just going to be superficial, communication and contact because it's going to be cordial. But as long as you don't do anything to bring a negative outcome to me,
or to disrespect me. Because I
stop.
thought you was going. I thought you was going. I thought you was going to go.
I know you thought I was gonna go disrespect, but
I
here's the
thought you
thing.
was going.
If I don't care about respect, how I'm gonna care
Right.
about disrespect?
There you go. That's what I thought. I said, hey, is he going to say disrespect? That's why I was like, hold on, go ahead. You can say it real quick.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
you know what I'm saying? Like a negative outcome, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when I'll feel the need to defend myself or something. But other than that, I, people are like, you ain't got to be my friend. That's perfectly cool. And not to mention, he who's looking for a whole bunch of friends is looking for a whole bunch of problems. That's my philosophy.
Now you're not wrong. I think I wouldn't say that that's always the case, but I definitely can say that a lot of times it is. Because a lot of people associate the word back to word association. Um, a lot of people mistake the word associate for a friend,
Facts. And vice versa.
and vice versa. And I think, especially the younger generation, you know what I mean. Everybody's your friend now. Everybody's your friend. Women say it all the time. Oh, he's just my friend. He's my friend. No, he wants to smash. He's not your friend. He's just waiting for that opening, for that window to
Yep.
open up.
Waiting
He
for a
just
moment
wants
of
to
weakness.
smash. It's a moment of weakness. Listen, ain't no. Let's keep it funky, man. There's no straight man out here that wants to sit in the friend zone of a woman, especially a woman that he finds attractive and wants to and wants to tap from time to time.
Unless
It just doesn't make no sense for me to be in that space. Go ahead, brother. What you about to say?
no, I was gonna say I do think that men and women can be friends, but it's very, very it's a very short cliff for that.
That's a short clip because what are we doing? When we say
Yeah.
friends, like, are we hanging out? Are we going? When we going on? We go play dominoes with each other? Are we gonna go play spades with each other? If I'm a single man and you a single woman and we friends, like if we go catch some brunch, like that doesn't really benefit me as a single man because these other girls that I may try to holler at is gonna think that you my girl.
But women can be a good wingman.
Women, it's very rare you run into women who got game.
And I disagree with you there. All women got game.
I can't agree that.
I
Because,
understand.
because the reason why is because women don't have to hunt for their food.
That's you just answered it right there.
What you mean? If you ain't gotta hunt for your food, you don't need to know how to be a hunter. So you
See,
don't need game.
you're missing the point of game. See, you look at the game from one way and one way only. Think about what
Yep.
you just said. A woman doesn't have to go hunt for food because she got the game to get somebody to go hunt for
But see that I wouldn't say that that's game because that's only reason I see where you went there. Only reason why I wouldn't say that that's game is because at the very end of the day, she doesn't have she doesn't have to really do anything for a man to naturally do that. It's just naturally in us to move a certain type of way. I wouldn't say
Yes, she
that's
do.
game.
She got to. First of all, in order for a man to want to do something to take care of a woman, she has to show some kind of interest into that man. That's the game.
She does. She does. She
That's
does
the
have to show
game. Like
interest.
you ain't just walking across the street and seeing some girl. You know what? I want to pay your bills. you ain't doing that. You
It ain't
know
happening.
what I'm
It ain't happening. It's not happening at all. It's
You
not
know,
happening at all.
so that's the game. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. And a lot of times we forget that part of the game.
I don't know if it's forget. I just think that we just have different definitions of game.
What's your definition of game?
Uh, Again, mine's the one-sided version of game that you said that I was thinking as. Mine's that one-sided is for me. Let me just hook my charger up. For me, game is for a man, right?
See,
Game
don't
is the.
don't put sex on it. Don't put sex
I'm
on it.
gonna
What's
put sex
game?
on it. I'm gonna put some sex on it.
You
I'm
can't put
gonna put
sex
some
on it.
sex on it. Why
Game
come
is
I can't put sex
sexless.
on it?
This game is sexless.
Man, you could be onto something. You could be onto something. but I'm gonna need you to further explain. I'm gonna need you because how I look at game, right? Is like I look at a basketball game, right? And the reason why I say it's not sexist is because if I'm in a basketball game, it's the men playing
Women play
against other
basketball.
men, right? But women don't play basketball against men.
Says who? What? So
I
you
mean,
gonna
like
take them?
not in like no organized sport. I mean, like pickup games, yeah, right?
See now you're putting a whole bunch of constraints and parameters around it. See, a definition is
Yeah.
what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you started adding a whole bunch of
But
constraints and
that's where the whole
parameters,
word association comes from. This is the whole
but that's my point.
conversation it is. You
But
know
see,
what I'm saying?
a word's definition is eternal, regardless of sex.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But here's the thing though. When we talk about game, the definition of game is not going to. You can Google definition of game right now. It's not going to be the definition that you and I are talking about.
It's gonna be the definition I'm talking about, not the definition you talking about.
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Like I said,
ahead.
the importance of word association.
Go ahead. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Let's see, game definition. Here it is. A form of player sport, especially a competitive one, played according to the rules and decided by skill, strength, or luck.
A woman does not exercise any of that.
Love is
Well,
competitive. What you talking about?
let me say,
What you
most
talking
women
about?
are not exercising that. Let's keep it all the way funky.
When you
Most
pick a
women
chick, when you
are not
pick a woman,
competitive.
it was a competition going on, and then somebody won that competition.
Right, but she doesn't know. In her mind, she's not thinking she's in a competition. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not thinking she's in a competition. She's thinking, hey, I got 1,000 dudes in my DM.
You hold
Like
on.
me.
You hold on. You just on the fingertips. You hold on. I ain't letting
No,
go.
no. And I can't listen. Listen. At the end of the day, listen. She got 1,000 dudes in her DMs. In her mind, she thinks she ain't gotta compete.
It is a
If
compete,
he don't like her, if he don't like her, this other dude in her DM gonna like her.
but
That's not competition.
it's a competition to get her because she's going after the one that's going to provide her the most benefit. See, that's the result. In a woman's mind, she's the prize. She's the championship trophy. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
Y'all
she don't have
boys,
to compete.
y'all boys is playing to get me. You see what I'm saying?
So
But
you
but
just
that's the
proved the
whole
point.
game. The purpose
The
of any
guys
game
are competing.
is the purpose of any game is to win, right?
Right. But the guys are competing for the quote unquote prize, which is a championship trophy.
But back to
She
what you
ain't
said.
competing for that though.
But back to what you said. 80% of the women sleep with 20% of the men.
Right.
So that 80% of the women is competing to get the attention of the 20% of the men that they really want.
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say they're competing because really it's it's 80% of the women, right, who are just going for those 20% of the dudes.
Right.
Whether they look like Lizzo or whether they look like Megan Good.
Okay.
And everything in between.
Okay.
Right? To my knowledge, most women come at most relationships, right, as in, especially if they're successful. I'm talking about women that I've had conversations with who are working on PhDs to, you know, barely graduate high school and hustle. Excuse me. For the most part, they carry themselves with the attitude of I'm the prize. Even if she's in at 80%, they still carry themselves as I'm the prize. So if he want me, he better come all the way correct. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about, and it's so, and this is why I say I can't all the way agree with that because I'm hearing this, what I call, right, delusion. Because you really are competing, but you're operating as if you don't have to. And then you turn around and say, well, hey,
That's
I'm good with being
game.
single for the rest of my life.
That's game. When you know you're competing, but you act like you don't have to That's just like the guy from at least my generation. I believe they do it in this generation too. Is when you see the fine girl that you really want to go after, you don't compliment her like everybody else. You talk about her.
Oh, I see where you're going there. I see where you're going there. I see where you're going there. So okay. So if we're being all the way technical, which is this is our ability to have discernment, right? And then make the decision of if we are basing things off of word association at the very end of the day, that is a form of game.
Yes,
That is a form of game.
it's game. Like you
Because
can
if we
you
keep it
you can put the
real,
phone you
that
can put the phone
strategy
in
you
front
just
of it,
gave
but
away,
at the end of the day, it's game.
it is. That strategy you just gave away right now, I think we're gonna have to cut that part out. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to snip that, man. We're gonna have to have Caleb. We're gonna have to have Caleb go ahead and snip that real quick, man, because you gave away too much sauce with that one right there.
Here's the thing: is even when you get a game away, the game still works. Free game still works.
It's gonna always work. You're not lying.
That's my yeah, exactly.
You're not lying. But the thing about giving away game is people try to prepare for that game you just gave away.
But at the end of the day, when what they really want, when they see something that they really want, that preparation goes out the window. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Oh, you're not lying. Oh, you're not lying. Everybody got the plan until they get punched in the face. You're not lying. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna keep it all the way funky, because really, even though it's game, it's not even it's effortless when you've built yourself up to a certain level. When you built your confidence as a man up to a certain level, it's not even really something you got to
That's
try.
the effort. That's the effort. It's never effortless because that's the effort. In order for you to build yourself up, that takes effort.
Well, yeah. So
It's
you
just,
took
it's just where you're
so you
expending
put in
effort.
the effort. Okay, I like that word association again.
Word
Hey,
association.
word association again. You understand me? Word association again. Yes, the effort was put in to build yourself up to a certain level. Now you at a certain level. You're not pressed for women no more. You're not chasing women no more. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where if the younger dudes, right? And I see it all the time. Women are always saying, "Oh yeah, these old feminine men expect us to chase them and yada yada yada." I'm like, listen, you don't have to chase us. Just understand within the next 8 to 10 years, 45 to 50% of women are going to be single. If you don't go after what you want as a woman, you're gonna be a dog mom or a cat mom at the end of the day. And I be
That's
telling everybody, invest in dog food and cat food. Hey, forget Tesla. Hey, forget Apple. Forget all those stocks. Find dog food and cat food. Invest in those stocks because I'm telling you right now, they're going to go up.
they ain't gonna go
They're
out of
going to go.
business.
They're not going to go out of business. Where they going to go? I had a girl tell me, right? I had a girl tell me, 37 years old, going on 38 years old, working on a doctorate program. You know what I mean? The whole nine. About to have a PhD in like 4 years or something like that. Um, no kids, no family, none of that type of stuff. And she was trying to tell me that she wants, right? Even though women like to be politically correct. I don't really care about his money, all this type of stuff. Okay, so what type of dudes you date, and what did they make? Oh, well, this dude did. He was 5 foot. The shortest I've ever dated was 5'10". He made six figures. He did. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So you didn't care, but you just seem to be attracting dudes that are above average
Or you keep choosing.
by choice. You're choosing these dudes who are above average in that 20%, right? And is trying to convince me that she's going to get him to only be committed to her, only want to be with her, going to be monogamous, and she's going to try to have a baby, in these later years. Now, I'm not saying none of this to say women can't have kids in the later years. I'm not saying that at all, right? Because we see it happening. Even albeit it's rare, we still see it happening, right?
Yeah.
Even though there are extremely real health risks for a woman waiting until she's in her later years to have a child, we still see it happening, right? The delusion, and this is her game, right? Now that we going over this word association, this is her game. Her game is, you know what? At the end of the day, if I can't find that man to be only monogamous with me that does 6 figures or more, that's at least 6 feet tall, then I'm okay with being single for the rest of my life. And that right there in itself, to me, is absolutely interesting because what out of every 4 women are suffering from some type of are on some type of antidepressant medication? Not because they're extremely happy, not because they don't have no choice to do whatever they want to. This is probably the most they've ever had the freedom to speak out and do whatever they want to, and still unhappy. I feel it's the choices that they're making. What do you think?
One is always about choices. You know, the quality of your
Okay.
life is defined by the quality of your choices. Period. Um, what I'll say, like I said, you know, everybody has evaluation criteria. They got a set of bullet points that they evaluate a person with to determine what level I'm gonna let this person go to, men and women. We all got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
A,
saying?
a standard, if you will.
Exactly. I can say a standard, but but you really can't set standards for other people. You can set standards for yourself, and then if a person meets your standards, you can let them into your bubble of life. So yes, you can that standard. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like back to the word association piece, like I've said before, I'm a firm believer that everybody can do anything that they so choose.
Correct.
But see, the thing is, with a choice requires a specific action, and some people aren't willing to do that specific action. So now they're not choosing; they're settling for whatever the actions that they're taking
Mm.
lead them to. You see what I'm saying?
Mm. Key word: settling.
Yes.
We're talking
So
about word association.
exactly. So a lot of times women say, I'm okay with being single." What she's really saying is, "I'll settle for being single because I don't have any other choice."
Mm. That's why I pointed that one out, and you messed around and read my mind because I hear that a lot, right? You hear that a lot,
Yes.
right? A lot of women say, "Hey, even if I got to be single, I'm good with that." Like based off of when we're dealing with word association, like I associate that way of thinking with, um, for one, that's a defense mechanism. You automatically don't want to deal with the truth that there is competition out here, right? There is some competition out here. You fail to deal with the truth, so you say, you know what? I'm just going. If you don't like me as is, I'm good with being single for the rest of my life.
I want to add something with the defense mechanism. You know the old saying, the best defense is a good offense. So
Yep.
technically, all actions are defense mechanisms.
Mm, I can see that. I can see that. All your responses is going to be a defense mechanism.
Absolutely, because it's all about
I can
trying
see
to
that.
ensure your own survival in this world. So every action you do is in defense of your being.
Mm, I like that, brother. I like that, brother. But this is a good build, man. It's always a pleasure, man. Always. Really, we could go on and on about this, man. Um, but it's always a good bill, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Did you want to tap on anything else before we get out of here?
Hey, the last thing I just want to add is, the way you define yourself is what you become. The old saying, self-fulfilling prophecy, that's a real thing. If you, just like when we did that podcast on security, if you say I'm insecure, when those things happen, you'll be insecure.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be insecure and have doubt. But the thing is, when you have doubt, you'll get yourself out of it because you're not insecure. You know what I'm saying? That's like the difference between, I'm not poor, I'm broke. See, poor is a mindset. Broke is a financial condition. You can go from broke to rich, but you can't go from poor to wealthy.
You're not lying, and that's that word association right there. That's why understanding the words is so important. I'm not even going to dig too much into it because again, that's going to cause us to. We can spend hours on this,
Yep.
but I just wanted to touch on the conversation we had before real quick, and piggyback off what you were saying earlier. It's extremely important that you determine who you are and you don't allow anybody else to, because when you start saying like I'm sick, for example. Remember, we had this conversation before. You got billions of cells, and whatever you tell those cells, they're gonna believe. So if you run
Yep.
around here and say, "Oh yeah, I got COVID," even though I got runny nose and all that, I got COVID. I'm sick of it. Those cells are going to start to manufacture that reality for you. They're
You
gonna
ain't
start putting in that work to manufacture that reality for you.
the lesson I learned about that one time, and I know we're going, but I just gotta give you this. I remember one
Go ahead, brother.
time I was supposed to go to work and I did, and I said, hey man, I got strep throat. I knew strep throat would be a reason for me to not have to go. And I didn't. But why a couple days later, I got strep
You see what I'm
throat.
saying?
That's the truth right there, man.
It's it's it's,
So
it's the truth.
at that moment, that's when I stopped doing stuff like that. Like, all right, B, we can't do this no more. This was when I was a young man. I figured that out.
And that's all I wanted to touch on, man. Is just so that everybody understands that whatever you believe, whatever you tell yourself or convince yourself you are, is who you're gonna be. Whether you're wrong or right, that is who you're gonna be. So if you feel you a loser, if you feel you depressed and all that type of stuff, hey, those words matter.
Yes, they do.
You know what I'm saying? Those words, people are checking out because they feel like they're depressed. Get your ass in the gym, bro. Go chase your purpose. Go start writing down goals and start working towards that. And then turn around a year later and tell me if you're still depressed. That's a
I don't
whole
know.
nother conversation, a whole nother
Yeah, but I just
podcast.
one last thing to go out with
Touch on it. Go ahead, brother.
is, hey, like you said, right or wrong, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, either way, you're right.
You're right. Always a
All right,
pleasure,
my
brother,
brother.
man.
To the next one.
To the next one.